It's loading.
Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11, we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Don't adjust your TVs. Somebody better looking. What's going on, Ken? Introduce yourself. Can't hear you, brother.
There we go. They know me, man. I pop on here enough. Hell, they all just came for the morning show.
Yeah, I know. I was catching it before we got on here, but hey, good morning, everybody. Nick, if I miss you. What's going on, W Vogs? So what's going on? First off, let me say this. Kyra Braxton passed away this morning or last night. Detroit Shock, two-time champion, 43, very young. I don't know if Jeremy covered it. Rondell Moore committed suicide. Sad to hear, man. It's really sad to hear. What's going on with you?
Yeah, it's like they come in batches, man. This is the second suicide in NFL this year. And people are going to say, oh, it's CTE. It doesn't have to be CTE. Obviously, the kid's career didn't go the way he wanted, but he was still doing okay. But you never know what's going on in someone's head. It's just sad to see someone take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I know Hollywood Brown tried to counsel the kid, tried to help the kid. And Hollywood Brown's a pretty resilient player in his own. I mean, you've seen his career. He's a pretty resilient cat himself. Yeah, that's sad news. And then another athlete dying. This one though, just not because of anything athletic with an accident, but still sad. And what's sad is like the media just flashes right over him, unless you're like some Hollywood starlet. They don't care.
Yeah.
And as a veteran with 22 a day being a real thing for my community, I can get it because they don't care that 22 vets a day kill themselves. It's never in the news. And an NFL player kills himself by suicide, and no one cared. And ESPN barely gave it a second. And it's like, there's issues with these athletes, and people don't understand, like, these guys live in a different world to a certain degree, but their issues may not be our issues, but they're issues to them nonetheless, and they need to be addressed. And this kid had some psychological issues because his career wasn't going the way he wanted. Yeah, he got the big contract, but there were other things not going well with it, and it created depression, and that needs to be treated. And people just need to actually maybe, when the guy says something, do something. And and kudos to Hollywood Brown for being there for the kid and trying.
Yeah.
It's just sad. And yeah, another athlete killed by a drunk driver, right? Because that's how she died, right? It was a drunk driving accident.
I thought it wasn't released when I looked, but that might have been it. You might be right.
How many athletes have we lost to the hands of a drunk driver the last couple of years? It's been a lot.
Yeah.
And we just saw that in full display with the U.S. national hockey team.
Yeah.
Right? With the jersey. I mean, him and his brother, both NHLers, killed by a drunk driver while riding bicycles.
Gardeau or whatever his name was. They took his kids out on the ice for the picture, which was great.
Beautiful. And of course, people are bitching about it. Oh my God. That was pure joy for me watching that yesterday.
Oh man.
And then the aftermath is just like makes you just go, oh God, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we need more of that and less of all this other crap.
Yeah.
And I wish the NFL, we could be talking about player business. I mean, dude, we got the combine this weekend, and all we're hearing about is the Bears Stadium deal, and whether or not it's okay that a member of the U.S. federal government was at the Olympics supporting the U.S. national hockey team, or whether it was good that it's okay that a U.S. national hockey team member says he loves the United States or not. I mean, seriously. I mean, sports has been a shit show since after the AFC NFC championship game.
Yeah. It's political, right? And the
Too
NFL's been
political,
doing a lot of
everything.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Now
they
it's
made
like even with trades, it's becoming political. Like, dude, like,
Yeah.
I it's frustrating because I know JB likes to fill the errors with what the Lions are doing, but we're not even seeing what the Lions are doing on a bigger scale or like we should normally be seeing because there's all this other noise out there.
Yeah.
There really is. We should be talking at this point, and I know, that's why I get why JB is doing so many mock drafts. It's a great distraction from everything else. Even though I hate all the mock drafts, and JB knows I hate the mock drafts, I don't like the
Right.
mock draft after free agency. Like I like to wait like 3 or 4 days in the free agency because that changes the draft picture. But it's
Right.
like right now we're not even talking about re-signings as much. There's
Yeah.
drama potentially in Detroit right now, isn't there, at the running back position?
Yeah, with Montgomery.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more than that, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Kirby, right? He's getting acupuncture. Me and JB, we were in a room before this. We were talking about it. He's getting
Yeah.
acupuncture. That needle goes too deep or the wrong way. I mean,
Yeah.
he should have had surgery on his knee. Not even that, but then we got Brian Branch, who that injury was weird against the Rams, right? So we got two all Pro Bowl type safeties that ain't gonna start the year probably. Branch probably back October, November, right? Like we're $10 million over the cap. That's one of the things JB wanted to talk about, right? And I hope you get better, brother. He has bronchitis right now and he's old, but whatever.
Well, you better get better. He's supposed to be at the combine this weekend.
Exactly. You don't want to miss that. But it's like, the Lions have a weird way of doing stuff. Like we were looking into it. We've only franchise tagged one player in our history, and that was Ziggy
Really?
Ansah. One player.
Wow.
That was Ziggy Ansah in 2018, the BYU guy. You know what I mean? That's it. It's the Lions got a lot going on right now. You know what I mean? We got the combine approaching. I love the combine. It's like you know what I mean? It's like my addiction, but I get into the mock drafts, but
I like the spectacle of it, but
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen sometimes I just start perusing YouTube on my TV at night late if I have nothing to watch on my Plex. And I came across a series that the Los Angeles Chargers have done. And they did this one video, it was like 15 minutes long. It was their GM watching the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they want to say, how real is this? And of course that board is tiny. He's like, what the hell is that? It's like he's like, okay, I can tell them what they're trying to do, but it's nowhere close. It's way too small. But then they were talking about certain other things of reality of football versus, let's say, the movie. And it's interesting because he said that there was one part where they're just now trying to ask questions about this player. And yeah, it's great cinematography. It makes for drama in the movie. He's like, dude, we've been watching these guys for 2 or 3 years by the time draft day comes around. We've done so much homework on these guys. We know them forwards and backwards. So by the time we get to even the combine, like he said, the combine, no one cares about. They know so much about these guys. They don't care about the run times and the height jump. And they've watched these guys play football for so much time, right? That the 15-minute interview is just to get an idea of their personality and how they'll mesh with the team. So the combine is very performative for the NFL network and everything else. And I enjoy it for that. But the funny thing that I always think about now with that, taking what the GM from the Chargers said in terms of what the reality is, and then if they know these guys so well from watching them for a year plus with their scouting teams and everything, then how do we get stuff like Richardson?
Yeah.
Who jumps way up into the first round to basically rob a good year or two away from Indiana progressing.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Yeah.
that guy this weekend who's going to jump way up in the draft boards who doesn't deserve to. We see it every year. And I don't know
Yeah.
why GMs don't get hip to it. Because every year it's the same thing. Like it's the definition of stupidity. Doing the same thing over and over again but expecting a different result.
We seen it opposite Seattle, and I always mess up his last name, but Nick Manuari or whatever his name was in the second round. You know what I'm talking about? Had a great rookie year, right? So we get into the Rondell Moore side, and exactly what you're talking about. I didn't play professional; I played college, but the stresses that are on the men, especially at that level, I could only fathom. But like when it comes down, field speed and running a 40-yard dash are two different things, right?
Yeah. Watching these guys in perfect conditions with no pads, no defenders, doesn't tell you how good their game skills is. I mean, dude, like they could throw me and you out there and well, we're old now, or at least I am.
Yeah.
But we could probably look pretty decent too. I mean, but you put pads on us and get us hit and having to bump off guys, it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother ball game. I mean, look at Kyle Monangai is a great example. 7th round pick who, wow, right? Everyone in the league's like, okay, well, this guy is a good running back. Yet he was a 7th round pick. So the combine didn't do anything for you because you didn't invite him. I mean, it's just like the combine is a great performance art for the NFL to showcase new players that are going to come into the league. The problem is you always get this Richardson type of player who jumps way up in the draft because he does a great workout. Great. And a team suffers for it. I mean, it's exciting. And look, a lot of deals are going to happen this weekend. They could happen. I should say they could happen this weekend. It's where a lot of deals happen. Trades happen. Or discussions that turn into trades start this weekend. But like when the Bears had the number 1, like we all knew we were taking Caleb. Oh, but Caleb didn't work out. Well, why would he work out? I mean, some of these young guys the last couple of years not working out, these top picks, they're like, well, why should I? You guys have been watching me for 3 years at the college level, 2 or 3 years at the college level. I've talked to your scouts. We've talked to your people. And I'll show up and you're going to talk to me for 15 minutes, ask me some questions, get to know me a little better. And then you're going to do your 30 for 30 with me, get to know me a little bit better there for a day. Why do you need to see me work out the combine? It means nothing. And they're right.
Yeah. It can only hurt them, though. If you're a consensus number 1 pick, it can only hurt you because you got nowhere to go but down, right?
Yeah, because you had a bad gym day. It's funny. You have a bad gym day, which has nothing to do with your ability on the field. Oh, he didn't do as many reps. That's what it was. He didn't do as many reps. Therefore, he's going to.
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to do with his field play?
No, absolutely. It's different, man. It's different. That's why I like I wish they would show behind the doors, right? When they break down the plays and reading, schemes and things. That's the stuff that matters, right? Like
they did once. Yeah. Remember the Giants did that Hard Knocks preseason?
I got it. Yeah.
You saw some of it. That was the year the Bears were drafting Caleb. And they were with the team at the combine. We got to see some of the interview process.
Yeah.
Where they would bring in players, say, well, what would you do on this? And we saw a little bit of it. But I wish we'd see more of it.
That's why I watch a lot of Gruden, especially around like the combine, because he get them QBs in there and he'll break stuff down, right? That 1 to 2 seconds pre-snap can make a difference, especially for a defensive player, even an offensive player. I mean, you really can't pre-snap move on offense, you know what I mean? But
again, what are you going to learn in 15 minutes too? I mean, dude, 15 minutes, like I get to interview you for 15 minutes, like and make a decision when I'm going to draft you. Like, no, a lot more goes into that. I mean, I think some fans believe that these 15-minute interviews and these workouts determine whether you're a good fit for a team or not. Like, I mean, how could you?
I mean,
you know what I mean? It doesn't seem That does not seem to be like tethered to reality. Yet fans act like it is.
So I had a coach at the last time I ever played, high level coach, Mr. Amstutz, and he told me, we called him Coach A, Toledo, historic coach, won MAC championship 2004. He told me, at that level and higher, everybody's talented. You know what I mean? And he said he would rather have a guy who's going to work his ass off than a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really what you want to know. If you're going to be dedicated, if you're not going to crash your car drunk, if you're not going to get a domestic violence, I mean, it goes beyond that. Are you going to eat good? Not only are you going to go out at 3:00 in the morning, are you going to take your teammates with you? Because you might be able to perform, but they might not be able to perform hungover, So there's so many things that go into it.
Well, and JB's comment there, right? Here's a play. How if the defense was this, what would you do? I mean, there's classroom smart and there's field smart.
Yes.
Being able to look at a whiteboard and say, "Oh, if I see this, I'm going to that," is very different than being on the field of play and doing.
Yeah. Well, these coordinators, especially in the NFL, like college is good too. I don't even want to take away from that, but they do a really good job at disguising, especially at the higher levels. And that's most of it too. You're good coordinators. I mean, look at Mike McDonald. He came from Michigan. He went to Seattle, did a great job. I mean, Vrabel was in his first year. Mike McDonald was in his second. That's who played in the NFL. I think Denver would have played instead of New England, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, you're 100% right, bro. It's and that goes on to the on-field speed, right? You're right. You look at a whiteboard, you see an X, you see an O, you see the formation, you yell it out. I mean, at that level, that everyone should be able to do that. Everybody.
My kid can do that.
Yeah.
You know why he can do that? He plays Madden. Anyone who plays Madden can do that. You know? I mean, what's going to be interesting for me is that if you look at the Bears and the Lions specifically, right? Like if I look at the Lions, they're obviously going to be looking into the trenches. What's the interview with an offensive lineman? That's what I want to know. Like what's an interview? What's that interview process like? And what are you really going to learn about these offensive linemen at the combine you haven't already seen from them protecting their college quarterbacks? And for the Bears, we're looking for an edge. We're probably looking for some young safeties. They're going to look for some trench guys that they want to develop. The Bears aren't looking for offensive line to start this year. They're looking for people to develop, right?
Yep.
Those are the things that to me that are. Hey, he said, "I got to jump in here." But I mean, those are the things I'm interested in. Is like, what are the Lions going to do in terms of they need defensive backfield help, right? I want to hear the conversation with the GMs, the coaching staff with these young corners and safeties that the Lions are going to probably spend a lot of time interviewing. But don't think that the combine is going to determine that whether or not they're going to draft them. It's about that big of the piece of the pie.
Yeah, the draft. I mentioned it on your show because you said it's a low hit rate. It is overall throughout the 7 rounds. An average is a 32% hit rate.
Yeah.
So anybody that gets more than 3 starters in any draft class, they're actually doing better than most of the teams in the NFL. Yep. You know who's been drafting the best over the past 4 seasons? There's 3 teams: Eagles, Lions, and Bears. Each one of them get a minimum of 4 starters out of their drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're going to have fun at the combine, but I'm just wondering. I think the problem with the combine is ownership buys into the fan talk, because I think Richardson gets drafted by the Colts because the fans saw the combine and said, "Oh my God, we got to have this guy." And Irsay bought into that.
Irsay bought into the fact that he looked great at Florida, period. And then he had a decent combine on top of it. They looked at his speed and his athleticism, but not his overall QB play. If you look at his QB play, it wasn't great at Florida. And how anybody thought that after only 11 games in college that he was going to be great is stupid.
Well, it's like with JJ McCarthy. Like the guy had injury issues at Michigan. What made the Vikings think he wouldn't have injury issues in the pros? It's not like you go from the college game to the professional game and your injury career history automatically resets to zero and you don't carry any of that baggage with you. You do.
It's just like when I look at the draft and I'm looking at the positions that the Lions need at center. The guy I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole is Connor Lew out of Auburn. He has had both ACLs blown out in his college career.
Yeah. You know what? But this is what JB. Now you know why I hate mock drafts and why I hate all the draft talk that we do, because it's just like none of it seems to be based in reality. Like, we all get sucked into at least this year I'm not hearing, this is a generational player, because we've heard that every year. Well, wait, I should bite my tongue. I'm sure someone's going to say someone's generational after the combine this weekend. Every year it's a generational player. Every year it's a can't miss. I hate when they compare these guys to other players. I know why they do it, so fans get an idea of maybe what the guy might be like. But that's what's supposed to be like, hey, JB is like John Gruden in this way. But now they want JB to be John Gruden all the time. He's not meant to be John Gruden all the time. No, he's meant to be JB. You know what I mean? And I'm just, the process is so, look at it. It's done for the fans. It's done for the NFL to make money. What do the teams really get out of the combine this weekend, JB?
They get a chance to see the people's athleticism. There's certain things you really want to pay attention to more with certain positions than the other. And it's like, if it's defensive end or a linebacker, you want to pay more attention to the 10 and 20-yard splits, because how often are they running a 40?
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, that's being realistic. Now, 40 time means a lot more to cornerback, wide receiver, and running back.
Yeah, but you know what, JB? I think if you're going to do the 40, let's change it. They need to make a change to the 40. They need to run that shit in pads. Full battle round. Yeah. Helmet, pads, the whole 9 yards.
If nothing else, they don't have to have the leg pads, but at least have them in shoulder pads and
everything.
An actual run.
Everything. Have them in everything, because placement of pads, weight of pads, everything contributes. An ounce makes a difference. Have them run it in everything. That's how you're going to finally get their true 40. And that even then is not really a true 40, because that's a true untouched 40. Right? They should run a 40 twice. Once in full battle rattle, just go. Another time, not with that little special stance they do and all that. No, how they be lined up on the field and go, and maybe get some contact from a pad in there or something. Like, let's make it more realistic. In the Army, we have a saying, we train as we fight. But the NFL Combine, you don't train as you fight. They train in a way that will never be seen on the field. What now?
They literally have clinics across the country that train them specifically for the Combine and the Pajama Olympics.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, in the Combine, you train as you'll never fight. And based off that training as you'll never fight, a team is going to make a huge financial decision on you. I think it's bad.
The other thing that means a lot, because it shows change of direction, is like the shuttle drill. That's something that actually matters, because that shows how well somebody's hips swivel. There's the one for the defensive ends where they have that weird 3-cone drill they do, which shows like them trying to get around somebody and then rushing through. Those are important.
Yeah, but JB, though, with all the game tape you have on these guys, aren't you already getting that? Don't you already know how good they can get around guys and twist the hips and move by watching them do it in games?
Well, and also we've seen it take out people making these moves at the Combine, because guess what? When they were injury prone in college, sometimes they don't even make it through the end of the Combine without being injured.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it.
Nick. With the 40 and certain things.
One of us is better than him.
the initial, the explosiveness, if I said anything, is what you really need to see at the combine, right? I mean, you see that on TV, but seeing it on person can be a little bit different too, right? The 40-yard dash, the 4th second don't matter. The 0.57 does, right? That explode, how they get off the line. Like even on that 40, I would say put a receiver on the route and see, have a preconceived route on the TV and everyone knows except for the defensive guy, and see how he reacts to it. See how them hips do swivel. See how his feet, what he watches, his instincts in person. Like instead of just run a straight line and you're the guy, right? Like change it up a little bit.
When it comes to that, when they go to the actual workouts, when the quarterbacks are working out with the wide receivers and they put a corner out there on them, you want to look at the guys that the wide receivers get separation on. Because if they're getting separation on them there, they'll get separation on them later in pads. Because if they can't keep up with no pads on, how the hell are they going to keep up with pads?
But I mean, the problem with the combine, here's where the combine fails us every year. And we see it in the draft every year. And yes, the combine does fail us every year. You see it in these guys who don't get invited and get picked in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Your common non guys. And some of your wide receivers, your Adam Thielens of the world, your undrafted free agent rookies. Every year there's a couple that get in the league that get in and have phenomenal seasons off the rip. And the combine fails teams in that way because A, some of these players aren't even invited. B, the combine doesn't showcase their talents appropriately enough.
Now they do another combine next week that isn't even televised, and I wish they would. And that's the one for Division 2 and 3 players, the ones that don't get invited to the main combine. I wish they'd show that one.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the combine's great for the NFL Network. It's great for the NFL. It's great for Rich Eisen to raise money for St. Jude's. That's all great, fine and dandy. But what's going to happen? And I hate this. Next week we're going to get Lions fans, Bears fans, football fans in general. My team needs to draft this guy. Did you see his combine workout?
And for me, the biggest thing for offensive linemen, and half of them don't do it anymore, the bench press.
Well, and let's be real. I mean, how many guys, and I say this understanding that Ozzie Trapio started the big bulk of the season for the Bears this year. And that my right tackle has started since day one after we drafted. But with offensive linemen in particular, and you can say this about defensive linemen too, actually. You don't see the fruits of your draft labor in these guys for 2 to 3 years.
I mean, let's look at our second round pick from 2 years ago, who hasn't played a single down in an NFL game yet because he's been injured every preseason and out for the season. And it's Rakestraw. You don't know what you have in this kid because we haven't seen it.
They can't get him on the
second
field.
round.
I think Zach Tom said it best. Zach Tom said it takes 2 to 3 years to find your way onto a starting offensive line. And I met him before his draft, and we had a small conversation. And this sticks with me. He was spot on. It takes 2 to 3 years to find your place in an offensive line, to learn the NFL game, to gel with that line. And it does. It takes 2 or 3 years. It's very rare. I mean, like what the Bears did last year is the exception, not the rule. And let's be honest, the Bears went out and they bought a bunch of guys who've been around, and then throwing Ozzie Trapio in there wasn't as big of a task because you had Joe Tooney right next to him, right? But I mean, that's the exception, not the rule. It takes years to build an offensive line. And
did you see? I have to ask, did you see the franchise tag values for this year, Ken?
I knew they're due to be released this week. What are they?
I have them. I actually have an overlay of it. 43.7 for a quarterback, 31.3 for a wide receiver, 30.8 for an edge rusher, 22.8 for a corner, 22.4 for an offensive tackle, 21.5 for a linebacker, 17.8 for a safety, 14.9 for a tight end, and 14.4 for a running back.
I'll tell you what, seeing that, it makes me having Cole Kmet and DeAndre Swift look really good financially for the Bears.
Yeah.
And just like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, we don't know what's going on with him because he has said in interviews lately that he wants to be here. That end of the season presser, way Brad Holmes talk, he doesn't know if he'll be here, and I think that comes down to money. But he's not that expensive in the first place.
With Monty, let me go to Monty. I have mad respect for Monty. When the Bears drafted him, I thought they got a hell of a steal, and they did.
They did.
And they let him go, and for the Bears, it's kind of worked out. And it kind of worked out for Monty too. I think Monty, his frustration is last year. It was almost like they were like, "Yeah, you're here, and we're not going to give you the ball." I mean, they got away from what made them successful in the run game. Because yes, Gibbs is a phenomenal running back, and he can do some things like DeAndre Swift can do. They can both all of a sudden if you get these guys on the edge, see ya, bye-bye. They're 60 yards downfield. Yeah, they can do that. But whereas the Bears use Monangai, like Montgomery used to get used in Detroit got away from that. And now Monty wasn't getting used properly, and it affected the team, I think, in such a negative way that a lot of fans didn't maybe notice it. We might have noticed it because the way we watch football is maybe a little different than the average fan. But I think I understand why Monty's mad. He's like, look, I'm an integral piece of this offense, and you straight up ignored me all year.
He wasn't mad, though. That's what you missed it. He just did interviews over the past 2 weeks.
Will you say in interviews to be politically correct and be nice to the team and what your frustration showed? His frustrations betrayed him in that regard. And look, I get what he said. And he should say those things. That's what you should say to professionals. But honestly, I could see why Monty would want to seek other pastures because it's more of an indictment on the offensive coordination last year. And
I think it's more than
anything else.
Of our offensive line that was atrocious. You look at it, the year before, we were creating 4 yards of separation before anybody got contacted in the run game. This year, it was 3/4 of a yard.
But Monty is so huge. When Monty was with the Bears, they were getting penetration. He was getting hit behind the line more than any other running back in the league when he was with the Bears. Monty's the kind of running back you want to lean on when your offensive line isn't doing so good because he's going to help create even more for Gibbs with an offensive line that's failing, and the Lions didn't do that. And Monty, look, I hope you guys keep him. I really like Monty. I think Monty is a great running back who has so much more potential because he's good with his hands out the backfield too, and he can help that offensive line get better. I think it was more his frustrations and the drama you're hearing about Monty is not about Monty. It's about the play calling in Detroit last year, the offensive coordination last year in Detroit more than anything than it is about Monty or Gibbs or the offensive line. It's about the play calling. Monty is a guy who doesn't need a spectacular offensive line. He proved that in Chicago. That's why you guys spent the money on him. Oh, that. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. I mean, you know what, though? I'll say this. Kudos to the state of Indiana for putting political parties aside. Yeah. Kudos to the state of Indiana for putting their political parties aside and realizing that an NFL franchise in Northwest Indiana would be a massive economic boom with paying for infrastructure, giving the Bears the tax they want, and $2 billion and the land. They get it.
I get why the Bears might be moving, and I totally agree with them. Do I agree with them keeping the Bears name and keeping it as the Chicago Bears in Indiana? Absolutely not. I think it should be. Be rebranded.
Why?
And
why?
I just think it's time for a rebrand.
But why would you change the team name?
I'd do something like this.
No. Why would you change the team name because they're moving
I
30
like that
miles
logo
away
better
from
than the
stadium?
toilet seat.
I mean, think about it. But think about it, dude. You're moving 30 miles. If you go to Indiana, you're moving 30 miles away from your current stadium. Why would you rename the team? I mean, Hammond Grizzlies, that look kind of cool. But why
It was
would
like
you
a
change the name?
WNBA logo.
I mean, yeah, why would you change any of your branding? You don't have to. You're 30 miles away. It's not like you're moving from Chicago to Orlando. You know what I mean? Or it's not like you're going from Chicago to I don't know, Des Moines. You know, you're moving 30 miles away. It's actually closer than to
And
Soldier Field
I heard
than
that they
Arlington
put
Heights.
their hat in the ring on you, for you guys.
Mean,
did I hear that right? That Iowa actually threw their hat in the ring at the one?
Yeah, they did. They did.
For the Bears.
But I mean, if they moved to Iowa, yeah, you keep the Bears name, but maybe you would be the Des Moines Bears. But I mean, honestly, you know, we spent a chunk of time this morning, as you know, on it. Look at the state of Illinois was given 3 years of mutual exclusivity to get this done, and the Bears set a low friggin' bar. Do your job as a state, do the infrastructure in the surrounding areas, and we'll pay $9 million a year in tax, which is the highest tax rate in the NFL, which the Rams pay, which is still 3 times more than the Cubs pay for Wrigley, 3 times more than they pay for the UC, 3 times more than they pay for USL. In fact, it'd be as much money for just the Bears as all 3 other stadiums in Chicago combined. And you know what? Do us right. And Illinois for 3 years said, "You're not a priority. We don't have time for you." And so I don't blame the Bears, and I hope they do move to Indiana because I think it's a better situation financially and business wise for the team. And they should be the name should still be Chicago Bears. And then you know what's gonna be funny? The state of Illinois, as stupid as it is going to turn around and sue the Chicago Bears over the naming rights, which they've trademarked forever ago, and try to take the name away and just show just how stupid they are. And I love my Bears, as you know, and I love the organization. And I used to love the state of Illinois. I thought I'd retire there. I want this stadium stuff to be done so the Bears can start. And look, I know Ryan Poles and the team; they're looking at the players, but I want the stadium thing to be done with the Bears so we can stop talking about it and they can. It is a distraction, you know. I mean, I don't think it's distracting Poles from his job this weekend, but it's an organizational distraction, and they just need to. Dude, 3 years we've owned the property in Arlington Heights, and we haven't even broke ground yet. And Highmark is opening this season. Think about that for a moment. You know, the Raiders have already, you know, it's just, I want to get talking Bears football and the Bears and this division, the Bears and the Lions, we're all in this window right now where we should see some great football in our division with all these teams. And I hate that we're being sidetracked by the politics and of football with stadiums instead of talking about what these teams are going to do this year when the worst team in our division was 9-8. The difference between second place and last place was literally a half a game. You know, this division should be a celebration of football. And right now it's Monty controversy, it's Bear Stadium controversy, JJ McCarthy controversy, and I don't know what's going on in Green Bay. But, you know, it's just.
Well, you know, Green Bay is going through what we went through last year. All the coordinator change. People, you know, we don't hear the Packers fans talking about it as much, but they lost just as much in coaching as we did last season.
Yeah, I mean, and they were last year coming in last year. We were remember last year, JB. We're saying the Packers are the most stable team in the lot. And you know what? This year, I'd like to be able to say the Bears are the most stable team of the lot. Unfortunately, we got the stadium thing that's making it not so. And yeah, you know, and to your comment, Mayor Johnson is not even part of the problem anymore. They've been excluded from the stadium talk for a year now.
Isn't it mostly the governor and the
governor
and House?
It's the
Yeah.
governor, yeah, which maybe Mayor Johnson has some influence with his battle buddy. But I mean, they got the Bears were like, we're going to Arlington Heights, and that was like before the playoffs started. They said Arlington Heights. Chicago was out. Yeah, there's a lot of I'm gonna take my ball and go home type of stuff going on in Illinois right now with political leadership. Put it that way. Mayor Johnson is part of the
Yeah.
problem, yes, but Governor Pritzker is the bigger part of the problem. And people say, well, we need to protect the taxpayer dollar by losing hundreds of millions of dollars a year in taxable revenue. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's almost like that stupid mayor out in New York City that says, "Oh, we need to tax the rich more."
Mandami. Yeah.
oh, and now you have to have 2 forms of ID to shovel snow.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Look. Here's the simple truth, right?
But-
I'm 6
but he
foot
doesn't
7,
want
200 and
People to show ID to vote.
Yeah.
look. I'm 6 foot 7, 290 pounds. I wish they had a walk on for the offensive line. I would do it. Plus, I play tight end, right? I'd fucking do it. I swear to God.
Why not?
I don't know.
Don't
I
they
was gonna
still-
take
don't
off
they-
my shirt, but
Well, you know
Don't
what's
they
funny?
still do open? Don't teams still do open workouts?
huh?
I thought teams still do open workouts.
I think no, not really. Not like they used to. That kind of went away like in 2000. I think the last one that I remember, and I actually took part in, was in 90 when Houston moved to Tennessee, and they were still the Oilers that first year, if you remember right, before the Houston sued for the naming rights.
Yeah.
I actually was living in Tennessee at the time. That was 96, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
that was
around there.
96.
Because I was at Fort Campbell. Yeah, so yeah, 96.
I ran a 4.640 then. So
You
I
know
wasn't
what's funny
fast,
about
but I
Houston?
wasn't.
You know what's funny about Houston suing for the naming rights and they never used the name? Right. That is funny. I mean, they never used the name. Did they win that case? Is that why
Yeah,
they
they won
changed
the
the name?
case. That's why it had to be changed.
I mean, but that like them suing for the naming rights, that makes sense. You're going from Houston to Tennessee, states away. The Bears situation doesn't make sense because you're still in the metropolitan area where most of the people that live in Hammond work in Illinois. I mean, their radio and TV stations are all Chicago.
Mm-hmm. So
You go
the
to
other thing,
Michigan
like
City.
he mentioned it earlier, but we really didn't get into it.
Oh, sorry, Michigan City, which is in Michigan.
I know. We talked.
By the way, all their TV and radio, Chicago. It's still the Chicago metropolitan area, even though it's 2 states away technically. So the naming rights game gets interesting. But go ahead. I'm sorry, JB. Go ahead. I just wanted to point that out.
So, like you mentioned, we're 9.93 million over the cap.
Yeah.
Why haven't there been any restructures done yet? That's what I'm wondering. Why hasn't that started? Because that makes no sense that we haven't started. Now we're at the combine because we're almost at the end of the team re-signing period already.
Well, no, I agree with you, JB, but here's why. Because they haven't. I think they're waiting to see what that number, the new cap number is going to be, and it hasn't been released yet. It's supposed to, it should be released next week or two. We're not even right now. We're not in the re-signing period technically yet, right? Because they just did the cap number or the tag numbers. They have until Friday. Is it Friday to designate tags? Is it this Friday for tags or is it next
Tomorrow.
Friday?
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow at 4 p.m.
No, I thought tomorrow's when it opens up for tagging.
No, the tag opened up last week. Nobody's tagged anybody yet.
God, we haven't heard anything. I thought the tagging. So I mean, I think that some of it because I look at the Bears are like a little bit over too, and to me it's amazing that the Lions are over because you guys are never over. I think though that like Holmes and Poles are waiting to find out, okay, how much more am I have to play with this year? Is it 10 million, 15 million, 20 million? I think that changes your restructure because you might want to restructure St. Brown, right? And what's St. Brown's restructure number? Like 23 million or something like that they could restructure off him? It's a big
I
number.
don't even think it's that much. I know he makes 33, if I remember right. Let me.
Well, let's
bring
just say
that
for
up.
sake of argument, we don't need the real number here, but let's just say for sake of argument, the max restructure on Brown, for sake of argument, is 20 mil. And I know it's not that, but let's just say it is. If you're Brad Holmes, you want to see what your new cap number is before you decide how much of that 20 mil you want to restructure. Because you might not have to restructure all 20 mil. You might only have to restructure 10 mil. So, I mean, I can see the wisdom in waiting to see what the new cap number is before you start restructuring people. I don't think you could restructure St. Brown and then a week later when the new cap number comes out, restructure him again. You know what I mean?
Right. The cap number for St. Brown this year is 33.1 million. The dead cap on him is 44.2.
But what's the restructure number on him? How much can you restructure him for?
It doesn't show that really here on Spode.
I'll find out. Yeah, there's a way to find it. I'll get it for you. Hold on. I'm good at finding this, as you know. One of my rare talents. Let me go to the Lions. Restructure. St. Brown, you can save 21. You can restructure St. Brown and save 21.1 million. You can restructure Jared Goff and save 40, just over 40 million.
Right.
So here's the thing.
That's the one I want done. I want Goff done more than anything.
So here's the thing, though. I don't blame Holmes for not pulling the restructure on that yet. And really, we think about it, dude. Like his contract, $55 million guaranteed salary, $69 million cap hit. Not too bad for an NFL starter of his caliber. But with the 40 million you could restructure, I think if you're Brad Holmes, you're like, how much of that do I need to restructure? 10, 15, 20, 30 million? I think you want to see what the new cap number is with what you need to work with. Because it's not like you could restructure 10 million of it today and then go restructure 20 million more next week. I think you get one shot at this per season, so to speak.
You do. But Jared Goff's cap hit is 69.6.
Yeah, but if you restructure 40 million, you take that cap. If you restructure 40 million, you can take that cap number down to 29 million.
So it's at that time of the show where we do what we usually do this time. This is when Ken usually goes bye-bye. It's time to do our mock draft.
You know,
why not do Chicago and Detroit? Do them both. Do Chicago and Detroit. Fuck it.
I know. I offer that.
Fine. Whatever. I'm going to pick poorly for the Bears probably because, you know, but fine.
I would do that.
We haven't even signed. There hasn't even been a significant re-signing of a player yet. We're trying to mock them. Okay. Let me make the screen bigger so I can see who my choices are.
It's just the wish list.
Yep. Well, my wish list is Max Crosby, and he's not on there. Well, first off, Fred, what are you doing watching another podcast?
Right.
I mean, seriously, Fred, we're going to have a discussion about this.
Yeah, Fred, you might want to be careful, like, what Lions podcast you watch, brother. There's only a few good ones, no disrespect, but...
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to trade out.
You want to take any trade? You don't want to trade out? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I want to trade out.
You need DP, safety, edge, offensive tackle, and linebacker.
Let me look at I'll go with I'll go with Caden McDonald. Yeah,
I was going to say
defensive tackle.
Yeah, let's see what these two are. No, I'm not trading back again either. I'm going to do what I always do. There he is. I think and I think they actually got the order right. I think Brailsworth is a little better than Slaughter, but Logan Jones is who I usually take here. You said you don't
No.
trade. So let's go back here. Okay, edge. Our Mason Thomas, let's see what his size is. 6'2", 243. That's more of an outside linebacker than a defensive end. You want me to go to just edge, or do you want me to go safety?
Let me go safety.
Ken?
Safety.
All right, that's where I went. Looks like everything's ranked 3rd round, but eventually somebody's got to take one in the 2nd round because there's a lot of people. Ooh, 6'3", 201 out of Penn State, Zachy Whitley. But this is probably, in my opinion, the best center left in the draft. Kamari Ramsey out of USC.
Yeah, I don't think the Bears are going to be drafting that high after Coleman. Let me see what you've got.
Edgewise, or do you want to?
Yeah, no. Let me look at linebackers.
Anthony
All right.
Hill just went off the board too.
Yep.
I love
Dante
Anthony
Lawson
Hill.
out of Alabama, 239. Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech.
6'1".
Jeremiah Trotter, which is Jeremiah Trotter's kid, Hosea Trotter.
Actually, hold on a second. Pull him back. No, he's too far back.
Do you
Let me
need
see the edges
corners
again.
Or are you still doing corners?
Go back to the edge.
I am. R. Mason Thomas, Danny Dennis.
Yeah, pull
Sutton,
up R. Mason
Eric
Thomas
Moore,
again.
Malachi Lawrence.
Pull up R. Mason again.
He's the right there. 6'2", 243. He's out of Oklahoma.
You know what? Draft him. I think they'll draft him as a linebacker and not an edge.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Height-wise, he's about the same.
Yeah, look, here now Kamari Ramsey is there, and Jalen Kilgore and Genesis Smith. I would go Kamari Ramsey if I
Yeah,
was
take Ramsey.
He's actually a good pick.
Yeah, take Ramsey.
Jalen Kilgore went right after him, too. That's my guy. That's who I like. But Gabe Jacobs is gone. Anthony Lucas is pretty good. He's 6'5", 267. Isn't that the same height and weight that Hutch was coming out of college? Woody?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Hey, that's not a bad trade. Go back 2 and gain a 7th rounder. Or 6th rounder, actually. You want that one?
Yeah, go ahead and take that trade. Yeah, go ahead.
I did. All right. And you didn't get offered another one. You want to look at offensive tackle?
Well, I don't want to look at. Yeah, go to offense and give me tight ends.
Tight ends. The best one is Justin Jolie out in North Carolina State here, 6'3", 251. There's Eli Raridan out of Notre Dame, 6'6", 244.
Hold on. Put him back up. The guy from Notre Dame.
Raridan?
Yeah.
They say he's 6'7". He's not. He's 6'6". But he might be closer to 250 than 240.
Draft him. Draft him. Yep. That's tight end 3.
I don't know about all these guys here. Have we taken an edge yet? Let's see what we've. Yeah, we took our edge. We took all of that. You know what? I'm going to go off script a little bit. I'm going to take the most versatile lineman in this draft, Trey Zoon. That fixes both guard positions.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm going to go offensive. Go to OG.
There's Fernando Carmona Jr. He's good at pulling guard. Jalen Farmer, Caden Barnett, and Delby Lemieux out of Dartmouth.
No, go with
out
Fernando.
of all of them, I do like Carmona Jr.
Yep,
Okay.
that's what I'm going with. And that's like your 2-year project. You know what I'm saying? You draft him now to be a backup and maybe be the replacement for Tooney a couple years down the road.
I love that Deshaun Singleton as a late 5th round pick. That's a steal. Kid out of I think he's Nebraska. All right, now we're gonna need a corner, and this is the guy I usually get. 6'3" and 194. Ephesians Prysock.
Love the name.
Let me see
Hey,
the
look at
safeties.
Safeties.
Ooh. Wait,
Devin
go back to
Boykin
corner.
out of. I'll go back to corner. Andre Fuller, Dalen Everett, Azillion Hamilton.
All right, now go to safety. To me, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Nope, go back to the corners.
5'10".
Yeah, he's too small. Give me
Okay.
a corner again. Let me see what Andre Fuller looks like.
6'1", 201. Not short, not tall. Good weight.
Yeah, draft him.
And Dalen Everett is a decent.
No, go with Fuller.
Andre.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a safety pick right there. I know he's a corner, but you know how they're interchangeable.
And this is my favorite linebacker in the draft because he used to be a safety in high school, and he was 6'1" and 200 pounds his senior year of high school. Now he's 6'5" and 242. So he's a linebacker with safety skills.
Oh, and Fred, that your comment there, that's just an excuse, man.
What do you say?
Oh, because he's on earlier than us. The other Lions podcaster.
He was talking about the podcaster that said something about 100 million in cap space for the Lions.
We're just giving Fred.
Yeah, there's a way to get it, but I doubt we do it all. We're probably going to get 20 million in cap relief on June 1st because I heard if Decker doesn't retire, they're cutting him to save 20 million on June 1st.
Click on
All right,
all up top. Let me see all players available by ranking. Oh,
this kid here out of Southern Miss. I like this kid. Jamon Tapp, edge out of Southern Miss. Because you guys still got Bajan this year, right?
yep. Give me CJ Daniels.
You signed him last year to a 2-year contract.
Yeah, give me CJ Daniels, wide receiver from Miami.
Okay. And you got another pick.
With this one, I'm going to go with Skylar Thomas from Oregon State.
Okay. All right, the Chicago Bears. I'm actually going to download them so we can just look at them, and that'll be easier than trying to read it off the screen.
You know, that's the thing.
And
like,
I can do stop sharing and come back to the studio.
We all think we know what our team needs are, but let's be honest. Like last year for the Bears, we didn't have them taking a wide receiver in the 2nd round, yet they did. You know what I mean? Yeah, Michael, how dare those fuckers interrupt the
All right, so let's bring these two up and see what we got here. I hate there.
That's what they'll say when they see my draft.
And then I'll bring up. Here is the Chicago's draft. Caden McDaniel, R. Mason Thomas, Kamari Ramsey, Eli Raridan, Fernando Carmona Jr., Andre Fuller, CJ Daniels, and Skylar Thomas. It's actually a solid, nice 8-pick draft, and you gain that extra 6th round pick to be able to get Fuller.
Yeah.
That's not a bad trade.
No.
And then here's our.
Yeah, I mean, you get some questions answered. Let's see. I like this. Your draft goes pretty good too.
Offensive tackle, that's a big need. Offensive center.
I think though. See, this is the thing about these mocks is like some of these needs aren't going to be needs in about 2 weeks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think with the injuries we had last year, all of these needs will stay needs, whether we sign them or not. And that's just because we need depth.
Hey, we're out
Especially
of
with
time.
Anzalone probably gone, we're going to have to take a linebacker.
Yep. We out of time, brother.
Eckert, Brock Wright, Joseph, if can't play, medically retires. Goff, St. Brown restructured. He said, I don't think they'll restructure Hutch because he's not even making extra money this year. He's on his 5th-year option. It can't be restructured. Same with JMO. Everybody, you got to remember, they're still on rookie deals because it was 5th-year options because they were first-round draft picks. But Trey Zune, and I wrote he's the most versatile O-lineman in this draft. His freshman year, he was a left tackle. And then in the preseason, their left guard goes out for the season. So he plays left guard. The next year, the right guard gets hurt for the season. They say, hey, you want to play right guard too? He's like, sure. He did it. Then this past season, their starting center, who was a senior, the same as him, he went out for the season, and Trey Zune played center for Texas A&M this year. And he did very well at all 4 positions. So he, by far, is the most versatile O-lineman in this draft. He's played left tackle, left guard, right guard, and center. What more do you want? That's the type of things that Brad Holmes looked at, that and the fact of whether they're team captains or not. Yeah, I know that's the list, but Hutch and JMO are on their 5th-year options. They can't restructure that because that's set by the NFL.
Yeah, and once again, I think GMs are waiting to see what the new cap number is going to be, because that's going to influence what they restructure.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Like,
so we may not see anybody re-signed at all for the Lions or the Bears until they get that final cap.
Yeah, it's been a weird offseason so far. Oh, that I'll agree.
Well, Woody, thank you for coming in. Ken, you too. I appreciate it. I wasn't feeling 100%, but I got feeling better because the medicine finally kicked in. I was like, I can breathe for a minute.
Yeah.
So I said, F it, I'm coming in. And I love that comment to Michael Edwards. Look at JB coming in hurt like Willis Reed. He said it way back in the show. It was funny.
All right, bro.
But I want to thank everybody in the chat who watched us. I want to thank Woody again and Ken. And as always, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. Stop looking at it as left wing and right wing and get back to where we are an American public so we can take control back.
Yep.
Have a great day, everybody.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.